Katriel, we're gonna check out where our field's been tiled. I said we were gonna show field tile, but I think it's more of a rodeo.
We've only almost been thrown off like 5 times.
Oh my goodness, this is a difficult ride.
I think we might have to give Randall less than a 5-star review.
I think so. It is rough. We are here. Uh-oh. No boots, huh?
Oh, I didn't wear
Now,
boots.
you should be ashamed. You knew you'd have to be out in the mud.
I didn't intend to get out of the
Hey,
truck.
Roger.
We kind of made a mess, but
Yeah,
got it
playing in the
pretty much
mud.
Done, yeah. Actually, that skid steer works best in the mud.
Okay, it likes that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit floppy.
So you built this little levee here this morning, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So see, Katriel, all this drains off of this other field,
Yeah.
and there's a spring right out in there somewhere, right?
Interesting.
And it's kind of springy right on the other side of the fence.
Always wet in here.
So the idea is to catch that in that standpipe and maybe dry up some of this here that we've always had difficulty dealing with. Never grown much out here.
That ought to slow it down a lot. It may not cure it, but it'll slow it down a lot.
Where does the water that's at the standpipe go?
Well, so it goes underground.
Okay.
See the covering where it went right through the middle of the ditch?
Yeah.
All right.
And then
Yeah.
it goes down there. Now see that? It goes down the ditch there. Then it goes to the north. See that big black pipe
Yep.
down there? That's where they've got this riser that we probably need to add a pump.
Okay, so that's what the whole discussion about the pump is.
Yeah, because we don't have any way to drain onward.
And what does the riser do?
Roger calls it a bubble up, right? Is that what you said you call it?
Yeah. Yeah, one of them, the far one down there, we just covered it basically with rock, and then it's probably about this deep or so, and then everything will come down to it and force it up and out.
Okay.
And this one's kind of just got a 24-inch pipe, and then it
Yeah.
comes in at the bottom and comes up and comes out there. But
Will that work?
they've been working. Yeah, the only problem you might have in that far one, this one might be, it may be a little wet around it for a while. The water table will be up there pretty much to where the outlet's at.
Yeah.
But they seem to work. The more slope you can get on them, the better off it is. We put quite a few of them in.
So the force of the water eventually, it will push it upward a little bit,
Yeah.
that's what you're saying. Okay.
But down there where we're at, the
Up.
water table's only, what is it, probably a foot or foot and a half. That ditch probably a foot and a half below the ground surface.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, until it gets dried out, the water table's going to be up pretty high. But you didn't have too much of an option here. There's no ditch over there, to speak of. And
Right.
the only place we could have went was over there on Schilling to get an outlet, and then that's about a quarter mile across there.
It's running right in there. So we got back here way back in the field and got stranded. Battery's dead on the Kubota here. Thankfully, Roger was here with his skid steer. He had to run all the way up to the truck to get jumper cables. It is so wet out through there. I certainly didn't look forward to walking. I was going to make Randall walk. He's the one that turned off the Kubota.
Randall was gonna make me walk.
Uh-oh.
And I forgot my rubber boots.
Oh. I think Roger's going to get us jumped, though.
If you ever get a skid steer, you need to get one with tracks on it.
Yep.
They're so
Track loader's much nicer, huh?
nice. You have a storm or something. Those buildings down, you can go right in with them tracks and pick up the stuff, rather than having rubber cars where
Yeah, rubber.
nails get in there, rubber
Yeah.
cars.
No, we're not going to have to walk.
Good deal.
You reckon that machine will work? It's not a case, I believe it'll get the job done. Folks, in earlier videos, I think I've made reference to how they refer to the soil in southeastern Illinois as poorly drained. Off camera, Roger mentioned that that was probably a generous description. And this picture does a great job of illustrating that. It's so muddy at the surface that the tractors could hardly make it through the field, and yet is dry as a bone at the bottom of that trench. Contrast that with what you saw in the trench in my yard just a few episodes ago, and you see why we wonder if tile will even work on this type of soil. Hey, Katriel, I think he's making chocolate milkshake.
Ooh, that is not one chocolate milkshake I want to try.
Look at him go. He's going to go over. We got another one of these to do. We get to walk. This is a little different than Carmel.
It is.
This is a 40-acre field that Christy and I purchased way back in 1992. Our crop yields have always been negatively affected by the wet soil in early spring. These muddy conditions not only delay our planting, they also inhibit root growth and don't allow the crop to yield up to its potential. This image shows the tile layout through the field. The green lines are the mains, the yellows are what they call submains, and the reds are what they call laterals. There are 3 outlets. One is in the upper right or northeast corner, and 2 along the west side. You might wonder why it's not all uniformly laid out. These choices are dictated by elevation. This black plastic drain tile is all perforated, and it's expected to last longer than I will. So this is considered a permanent long-term upgrade. At least it better be an upgrade. The cost is more than we originally paid to purchase the land. This type of upgrade is an illustration of what farmers try to do to increase the productivity on all of their farmland. It's a good thing, too. World food consumption is rising rapidly. I, for one, hope the farmers can continue to keep up. You don't think that looks like fun?
Not really, to be honest.
Playing in the mud's always fun. Folks, I wish we could have been here when they actually put the tile in. We've got a few pictures of it, but it's pretty amazing when they tie 2 of those big tractors together. Over 700 horsepower pulling on that big tile plow. But yeah, we were home, working on the dryer. That's exciting. What's he doing here, Randall?
Well, he's fixing up a kind of a catch basin.
So he's going to build a little bit of a levee out there. I'm not sure what he's doing now. He seems to be taking it off smooth.
I think he's trying to help take the topsoil so he can put it back on top.
Okay.
But we've stacked this up a little bit right here with the backhoe when we dug the riser in. It was really muddy that day, so that was kind of the best we could do.
So this is a lot drier than it was.
Drier than it was the day we put the riser in, yeah. Could hardly get around with the backhoe that day.
So it's already dried some.
Yeah, I think it has.
So this riser goes to one of those 2 tiles underground on the sides of the ditch, right?
Pretty sure it's this one over here. Or we come up here and then curved it. And I think the end of the tile is right up here.
Okay.
The end of this tile. Kind of did the best we could because it was really muddy in here when we had those 2 tractors. We was chewing and spinning with them.
Yeah. So he'll get all this topsoil off here and then he'll go get he'll find some soil.
Yeah, out of the fence row or something here.
And build a little levee.
Yeah. Looks like that skid steer works pretty well to me.
Yeah, I mean it seems to get a lot of traction, even when it's muddy like that. He's able to push a pretty big load. I mean, that's a big bucket he picked up there. Does it fast too.
Yeah, yeah, he's good with it.
As I was watching this, I wondered if any of Roger's customers ever complain about him tearing up their grass. Somehow I doubt that's one of the major concerns. It's fascinating how different projects have totally different requirements. So frustrating when it sticks in your bucket. He's thinking we weren't going to run a ride through that mess. I think he was thinking he really was going to throw us off.
Yeah.
But this is a main line right here. And then the regular, I don't know what they call them, the rest of the tile goes out there and it connects in. So they actually used a backhoe to make these connections. But other than that, they used a tile plow.
Man, he's just driving off and leaving us.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we were getting off for 10 feet.
Me too. You making fun of me, Dad?
Nope. Not at all. This is a mess out here.
Glad I stole Mom's boots.
Yeah. Looks to me like we're gonna have to get the grapple down in here and get some of this stuff out. We could farm along here now, couldn't we?
Well, yeah, we just I didn't get that main close enough to the fence row. We may have to run another line along here someday. It's running. This is where I started to take out brush along here, back to the ditch, and then it got too wet to get around with the backhoe.
Well, we may have to bring the 37 down here or Johnny's grapple and get some of that moved out. So in here,
I don't know whether you can see through the water. On this side over here, on the to your right, is the inlet down at the bottom. Then up here on this side is where it's going out.
Yeah.
To the ditch. And you can tell it's a running out here because the ditch isn't running much water, but it's running there.
Definitely water coming out of the tile. A lot of water coming out of that tile. But it's how far above the inlet is the outlet?
I don't really.
Was it 4 inch? Oh my goodness.
Probably.
So all that tile's got to be sitting underwater out there then.
Well, it is till it gets above that level of that outlet.
Yeah. So the tile here between the Kubota and us is not doing any good.
Probably not.
Folks, this is what we're talking about, needing a pump to handle. The inlets for the tile are coming in below the outlet because we didn't have any place to drain right over here. We just aren't high enough, so we think we're going to need to put a pump in here to pump out of that and pump into this ditch here. We'd really only need to elevate it maybe 2 or 3 feet. So it shouldn't have to be a really powerful pump, and we don't have any power back here, so we're thinking maybe we could do a solar powered pump. If you have any experience with that, folks, let us know. This needs a lot of, when it's wet, this will need to carry a lot of water.
Yeah, probably will. But if, I don't know, maybe my idea is not really, I was thinking that if the tile is running enough that it's going out the outlet, the pump is probably, the only time the pump is really going to need to be really pumping is to get it down below that.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think you could have it, if the pump's going to be triggered by water, it's going to run anytime there's water at the bottom.
Right.
So the only time that,
So the overflow, though, will automatically run out. So it won't have
we
to
could have
a
a slow
lot
pump.
of flow.
I see. You could have a slow pump. Yeah. Small. Well, let's go see the other one. So we've got a different approach here. In this area, it's filled with rock, and the pipe comes in under the rock, and the water is bubbling up through that rock and going on down to the neighbor's property. So where Dad is over there is the neighbor's property, the property line somewhere where the dog is. So this is the same approach with where you're trying to get the water to bubble upward by being pushed from the tile that's coming in. The water gets pushed down that hill and then hopefully it'll bubble back upward a little bit here. I'm not necessarily sold on this yet. We don't have a lot of good choices, so I think the only choice for us is going to be a pump, because I just don't see this working. but the tile man says it will work, so we'll give it a little while. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed the little trip around our field, seeing some of the tile and seeing the compact track loader build a levee down there. Randall, you think it's going to work?
I think it'll help.
I like his confidence. Well, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time on
Tractor time with Tim.